The 1870s were a whirlwind of change. Steam engines roared, railroads stretched across continents, cities pulsed with the energy of the Industrial Revolution. In New York, offices were chaotic hubs where clerks scribbled furiously, their hands stained with ink, their eyes weary from copying contracts, letters, and invoices by hand. Each document was a battle against time, errors creeping in with every stroke of the quill. This was a world on the cusp of transformation. Thomas Alva Edison, a 29-year-old inventor with a mind like a lightning storm, was ready to strike. Edison wasn't just another tinkerer. By 1876, he'd already revolutionized telegraphy with his quadruplex system, sending 4 messages simultaneously over a single wire. His Menlo Park laboratory, a modest wooden building in rural New Jersey, was his proving ground, a place where ideas collided like sparks in a forge. Here, Edison and his team of machinists, chemists, and dreamers worked late into the night, fueled by coffee and ambition. The problem of document duplication was a nagging thorn in the side of businesses everywhere. Edison saw an opportunity to pull it out. The electric pen, patented on August 8, 1876, was his answer. Imagine a device that could punch tiny holes in paper at a dizzying 50 perforations per second, creating a stencil for mass copying. It was a bold leap, a battery-powered tool that promised to free clerks from the drudgery of hand copying. But this wasn't just about saving time, it was about reshaping how information flowed in a rapidly growing world. Could this buzzing, whirring pen live up to its promise? Or would it flicker out like a candle in the wind? The stage was set for a story of brilliance, struggle, and unexpected legacy. The birth of the electric pen. Menlo Park in 1875 was alive with possibility. The lab's wooden floors creaked under the weight of machinery. The air hummed with the faint buzz of electricity. Edison, with his tousled hair and ink-stained shirt, was the maestro of this chaotic orchestra. But he didn't work alone. His right-hand man, Charles Batchelor, a meticulous British machinist, brought precision to Edison's wild ideas. John Ott, another key collaborator, turned sketches into reality with his mechanical expertise. Together, they were the heart of Menlo Park, a team Edison affectionately called his muckers. The electric pen's origin was rooted in Edison's telegraph work. He'd long experimented with perforated paper for telegraph tapes, which inspired a radical idea. What if a pen could perforate paper to create a reusable stencil? The concept was deceptively simple. A handheld device powered by a small electric motor would drive a needle up and down, punching tiny holes as the user wrote. This stencil could then be placed in a duplicating press, where ink would be forced through the holes onto blank paper, producing crisp copies. The pen's design was a marvel of engineering. A wet cell battery, housed in a compact case, powered a motor that spun a cam, which in turn oscillated a steel needle. The user wrote or drew on special waxed paper. The needle's rapid perforations created a stencil. The duplicating press, a flatbed device with an inked roller, completed the process, capable of producing up to 5,000 copies from a single stencil, according to Edison's bold claims. The team spent months refining the prototype, tweaking the motor's speed and the needle's durability to ensure smooth operation. But building the pen was no easy feat. Early prototypes were clunky, the motor prone to overheating. Batchelor's meticulous notes, preserved in the Edison papers, reveal countless iterations, adjusting the cam's shape, testing different battery chemicals, and balancing the pen's weight. By late 1875, they had a working model. Edison was ready to show the world. The electric pen wasn't just a tool. It was a glimpse into a future where technology could tame the chaos of human labor. Triumph and trials. The electric pen burst onto the scene at the 1876 Centennial Exhibition in Philadelphia, a grand celebration of America's first century. Amid steam engines and towering Corliss generators, Edison's modest booth drew curious crowds. The pen's motor whirred, its needle dancing across paper, creating stencils with mesmerizing speed. Visitors watched in awe as clerks demonstrated how a single stencil could produce dozens of identical letters. The exhibition awarded the pen a bronze medal, a nod to its ingenuity in a sea of mechanical marvels. The pen's fame spread beyond America. In England, Charles Dodgson, better known as Lewis Carroll, author of Alice in Wonderland, purchased one in 1877. He used it for his private writings, including his mathematical Memoria Technica, praised its efficiency in personal letters. "It saves me hours," he wrote, a glowing endorsement from a literary giant. Businesses, too, were captivated. Merchants in New York and Chicago, lawyers in Boston, and insurance agents in London saw the pen as a godsend. Edison's agents, operating from a New York office, marketed it aggressively. Sales reportedly reaching 60,000 units by 1878, though these figures, likely inflated, reflect the era's promotional zeal. Yet the pen's early triumph masked its flaws. Its motor was loud, a constant buzz that grated on office workers' nerves. The pen weighed over a pound, tiring the user's hand after prolonged use. The wet cell battery, filled with corrosive chemicals like sulfuric acid, required frequent maintenance, a task few clerks relished. "It's a brilliant idea, but a beast to maintain," one user complained in a trade journal. As the 1870s drew to a close, competitors emerged. Typewriters, like Remington's 1873 model, offered a cleaner, more versatile alternative. Mechanical pens, requiring no electricity, gained traction in Europe. Edison, ever restless, was already chasing his next obsession: the phonograph, dubbed Momus after the Greek god of mockery. By 1880, the electric pen's moment had passed. Production slowed. Agents reported dwindling orders. The London office closed with a sigh, its manager lamenting, "The day for the electric pen is done." But was it truly finished, or did its spark ignite something greater? The unseen legacy. The electric pen's story didn't end with its decline. Like a seed buried in fertile soil, it sprouted in ways Edison never anticipated. In 1887, Albert Blake Dick, a Chicago entrepreneur, saw potential in the pen's duplicating press. Licensing Edison's patents, he developed the mimeograph, a simpler, more reliable stencil-based copier. By the 1890s, mimeographs were everywhere. Schools churned out worksheets, churches printed bulletins, and offices duplicated memos with ease. The mimeograph, bearing the electric pen's DNA, became a cornerstone of 20th century communication. Its purple inked pages a nostalgic hallmark for generations. But the pen's legacy stretched even further. In 1891, Samuel O'Reilly, a New York tattoo artist, stumbled upon the electric pen's mechanism. Inspired, he adapted its motor and needle system to create the first electric tattoo machine. Patented as an improvement over Edison's design. Capable of 50 perforations per second, it was a quantum leap over hand tattooing's laborious 2 or 3. O'Reilly's machine transformed tattooing from a niche craft into a modern art form, its buzz echoing in parlors worldwide. Today, every tattoo needle owes a debt to the electric pen, a connection as surprising as it is profound. The pen's influence didn't stop there. Its stencil technology inspired early hectographs and cyclostyles, precursors to modern photocopiers. Even the concept of rapid automated perforation found echoes in industrial processes. From textile manufacturing to early computing punch cards, the electric pen was a failure in the market, but a triumph in ideas, proving that even a forgotten invention can ripple through history. The human cost of innovation. Behind the electric pen's buzz was a human story, one of sweat, sacrifice, and unspoken dreams. Edison's Menlo Park team, his muckers, were the unsung heroes of his lab. Charles Batchelor, with his steady hand and sharp mind, spent sleepless nights perfecting the pen's motor. John Ott, a machinist with a craftsman's pride, machined parts with precision that rivaled a jeweler's. Yet their names rarely appeared in the spotlight. Edison, the charismatic showman, soaked up the credit. His name emblazoned on patents and headlines. The muckers' lives were grueling. They worked 12-hour days, often sleeping on cots in the lab's attic. Meals were hasty, snatched between experiments. Batchelor's diaries, preserved in the Edison papers, reveal moments of exhaustion. Up till 3 a.m. again, motor still jamming. Their dedication was unwavering. But recognition was scarce. For every triumphant patent, there were dozens of forgotten hands that made it possible. Edison's personal life was no less strained. In 1876, as the electric pen launched, his wife Mary Stilwell was struggling. At 21, she was raising two young children, Marion, nicknamed Dot, and Thomas Jr., called Dash, while battling frequent illnesses. Edison, consumed by his work, was often an absent husband and father. He loved us, but the lab was his first love, Marion later recalled. Mary's death in 1884, possibly from a brain tumor or morphine overdose, left Edison shattered. He remarried Mina Miller in 1886, but the scars of his relentless drive lingered. The electric pen's story is a reminder that innovation isn't just about machines. It's about the people who pour their lives into them. The muckers, Mary, and even Edison himself paid a price for progress, a human toll that history often overlooks. Why it faded? The electric pen's decline was as swift as its rise. By 1880, its flaws were undeniable. The motor's incessant buzz disrupted quiet offices, earning complaints from clerks who preferred the soft scratch of quills. The pen's weight, over a pound, made prolonged writing a chore, leaving users with aching wrists. The wet cell battery, a bulky contraption of glass and acid, demanded constant refilling and cleaning, a task that frustrated busy professionals. "It's ingenious, but it's a bother," one Boston merchant grumbled in an 1879 trade report. Competitors were quick to capitalize. Typewriters, introduced by Remington in 1873, were gaining popularity, offering speed and versatility without the need for electricity. Mechanical pens, like those from European firms, were lighter and simpler, requiring no batteries. By 1887, Albert Blake Dick's mimeograph had surpassed the electric pen, using a similar stencil process but with a more user-friendly design. Sales figures, though murky, tell a stark story. From a peak of 60,000 units, a likely exaggeration, production dropped sharply by 1880. With European markets collapsing entirely, Edison didn't linger on the failure. His mind was already on the phonograph and the incandescent bulb, inventions that would cement his legend. The electric pen was shelved, its patents sold off, its story fading into the margins. Yet its failure was instructive. It taught Edison's team the value of user-friendliness, a lesson that shaped their later successes. The pen's demise wasn't an end, but a pivot, a stepping stone to greater triumphs. The spark that lives on the electric pen may seem like a relic, a curious footnote in Edison's storied career. But look closer, and you'll see its spark still flickering. The mimeograph, born from its technology, powered the spread of knowledge for decades, from classroom handouts to revolutionary pamphlets. The electric tattoo machine, a direct descendant, turned an ancient craft into a global art form. Even modern copiers and printers owe a quiet nod to the pen's stencil-based innovation. What does this tell us? That progress is messy, unpredictable, and often unrecognized in its time. The electric pen wasn't a blockbuster, but it was a pioneer, a bold experiment that paved the way for others. It reminds us to look beyond the spotlight, to celebrate the quiet ideas that change the world. At Obscure Minds, we're committed to telling these stories, shining a light on the forgotten geniuses who shaped our lives. So, what's the next hidden spark waiting to be rediscovered? Hit like if this tale ignited your curiosity, share it to spread the story. Subscribe to Obscure Minds for more journeys into history's overlooked corners. Let's keep the fire of innovation burning.